Hey everyone, I'm Fran Gallagher. I'm your guide to relationships, meditation, and intuition. So, I have spoken before about double vision, about having the ability to look at where you are going and where you don't want to go, as you do when you drive. You want to keep your eyes ahead of you on the road, but you want to be aware if anyone strays into your lane. That's the same that we want to do regarding outcomes. So, as we develop our intuition, we're going to use it to understand possible outcomes. And the two extremes are, of course, the best case scenario and the worst case scenario. So, what I do for myself and what I do for my intuitive life coaching clients I have is that I do what I call visit worst case scenario in order to know what the worst case could be, whether I can handle it or not, and then let it go. This is a way also really of training ourselves to be positive, to look at positive possibilities, positive outcomes, rather than dwelling on negative possibilities and negative outcomes. But that's easier because we have prepared ourselves for the possible negative outcome. We know what is possible. We've decided we can handle it. And therefore, we're going to go forward with whatever the movement is to try to get to the outcome. So if you look at worst case scenario and you don't think you could handle it, then you don't want to do that movement toward either the worst or best case outcome. You don't want to be gambling in that way. So really understanding how not to frighten yourself over much, to realize that looking at worst case scenario is a glance and it won't be helpful to you if it's more than just a glance. I promise it won't be. And if you are unable to look at the worst case scenario, consider it, think about it, know what it might be, without then perseverating on it, then you're not ready to look at worst case scenarios. And therefore, you're going to have a little bit of a hard time gauging when to take bold action. So actually, I love that I just said that. I wasn't planning to say that, but this really is a tool for understanding when, if, how we take bold action. If you have a tendency to become too anxious, then you have to dial back the boldness, don't you? This is such a powerful way, again, to train ourselves to understand that just like we understand that a surface that is hot, we need to not touch. We need not to linger on worst case scenario. Uh, because we can focus on it too much. And then in the case of a pothole, which is worst case scenario when you're driving on the road, you'll hit it if you stare at the pothole. Best case scenario comes when we stare at the area that is not the pothole, when we realize we see the pothole and we drive past it instead of into it. Now, I have to admit, about 20 years ago, I hit the pothole. That's not true because now I just remembered that about a year ago I hit a pothole, but I've also avoided plenty of them. So we want to look at the possibility of the pothole and then look at where we want to go, not where we don't want to go. So thanks for joining me. Stay safe in all things that you do. Bye.